Welcome back to Grid Drop. Today we're going to help you get faster around one of Formula One's most iconic tracks, Imola. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave any feedback or questions in the comment section or in my Discord, which is linked in the description. That being said, let's get right into it. This video will be broken down into 5 sections: car setup, Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3, and finally a full lap. These sections are all equally important, so stay tuned to the end of the video if you really want to improve. So here's the setup I run at Imola. Feel free to pause the video and screenshot this if you want to try out the setup on your own. This setup prioritizes front-end rotation and grip throughout the entirety of the track without sacrificing straight-line speed. As a disclaimer, this setup is a general baseline for you to start with and applies to both hot laps and a race. I recommend doing a few laps with this setup and tweaking it to fit your own style. The main straight at Imola is quite a long one. Obviously, stay flat out and create the straightest line you can. Approaching turn 1, sway to the right side of the track. This corner entry is a bit narrow, so you want to use the full width of the track here. Pay attention to where the curb starts on the right. You want to brake just after you hit this point. Under braking now, start turning in just after the 50-meter board. At mid-corner, take some of the curb on the left, but avoid this yellow raised curb. Hitting this curb will destabilize your car and pretty much ruin your lap right away. Slowly getting back on the power now, you should naturally be swaying to the next inside curb. Again, you can use some of the curb here, but avoid the yellow ones at all costs. At mid-corner, watch your throttle input. It's easy to be too aggressive on the gas here and spin. Once exiting this curb, you should be around 75% throttle. As soon as you're off the curb and swayed all the way to the left side of the track, you should be at 100% throttle. Keep the throttle pinned and don't stray too far from the left side of the track. You need to have a sharper turn in for this next corner. Move slightly towards the middle of the track, but quickly and sharply pull back in, staying flat out. You can use some of this inside curb here, and on exit, extend all the way to the exit curb on the right. In my opinion, this upcoming corner is the trickiest one of the lap. Stay as far to the right as you can on this small straight. Braking is a bit tough here. I find the best reference point is to have a very slight tap of the brakes as soon as you reach the end of this curb. As soon as you brake, turn in. For braking here, you want no more than 20%. On top of this, keep a very confident steering angle when turning in here, but turn in a little bit less than you think, as you really want to avoid taking too much of the inside curb here. Just after you pass that inside curb, you want another tap of the brakes, roughly around 50 to 60%. Once braking, turn into the corner and use this inside curb, getting back on the throttle at mid-corner. Flat out on the exit now, naturally sway to the left and use the exit curb. There are a few different lines and braking methods through these corners, so play around and see what works for you. Anyway, that's a run-through of Sector 1, now let's see it at full speed. Into Sector 2 now, watch for the 50-meter board on the right. You want to brake exactly at this point. Hard braking now, stick to the right side of the track before smoothly rotating the car into the corner. Once braking and turning in, aim to get close to this inside curb. At mid-corner, slowly opening up the steering, get back on the throttle. On exit, sway to the right side of the track and punch the throttle. Up the hill now, stick to the right side of the track once you reach the crest, and prepare for a quick left-hander. The meter boards won't help you here, you just need to judge your braking by keeping your eyes focused on the apex of the corner. If that's challenging, just practice it over the course of a few laps. It'll eventually become more natural. Here, you want about 50% brake pressure as you turn into the corner, and turn in slightly earlier than you think in order to get the front end fully rotated. As soon as you're at the mid-corner point, get back on the gas. You want the perfect amount of momentum to use the full width of the exit curb on the right. Speaking of which, do that. Keep the throttle pinned and head back down the hill. The next corner can be tricky, but if you know what you're doing, it's actually pretty fun. Stick to the left side of the track and stay off the brakes. Turn into the corner and make sure you hit that inside curb. You want a straight line through here. Once turned in, you'll be tempted to brake, but not yet. I'm going to freeze the screen for a while and pay attention to the surroundings. There aren't any good reference points for braking here, but this is where you want to brake. Take a good look at the distances to certain objects or points on the screen, and try to memorize them for when you go around this track on your own. Under braking now, you want a full application of the brakes. Braking hard and turning in, aim to take as much of this inside curve as you can, but again, avoid the yellow ones. Getting back on the throttle now, use the outside curb on the left to extend the track. Heading up the hill, you should be at full throttle. So that's a breakdown of Sector 2, now let's see it at full speed. Into the next corner, watch for where the curb begins on the left. You should brake right between where the curb begins and the 50-meter board. Under braking and turning in, be very deliberate with your steering and throttle. It's easy to run wide here. Take as much of this inside curb as you can. Now, staying off the throttle, quickly change your steering input to correlate with this left turn. You can take some of this yellow curb here if you want, it's less harsh than the others, however I personally choose to avoid it. About a third of the throttle at mid-corner here, extend to the exit curb on the right. Once on the curb, increase the throttle cautiously. The bumps on this curb can cause you to lose stability under acceleration. Once off the curb and fully accelerating, stay flat out down the hill. Stick to the left side of the track and then go to the right. Approaching the corner, watch for the meter boards on the right. You want to brake about 1 car length ahead of the 100 meter board. It's definitely easier to brake late here, but you want to make sure you make the corner. Under braking, keep your eyes focused on the apex of the corner. Once turning in, aim to use the full width of the inside curb. You can get on the throttle at the mid-corner point and naturally let the car sway to the right. Final corner of the lap now, and you just have to eyeball this one. Aim to turn it and use the full width of the curb, and have a very slight tap of the brakes as you do so. As soon as you brake, get back on the power and extend to the right exit curb. Now, power down, enable DRS, and finish the lap. That's a look at Sector 3, now let's see it at full speed. Now let's take a look at a full lap. So there you have it, a full lap of Imola broken down corner by corner and sector by sector. If you have any questions or need more tips, feel free to leave a comment on this video or in my Discord. Also, let me know if you want to see more track guides, and if so, which ones would you like to see? So if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.